Have you ever wondered why you just can't stay consistent when it comes to your goals? Somehow you always lose focus, get distracted, or lose momentum. It's not like you don't desire to accomplish your goals, but you always feel like you're starting and stopping, pursuing the newest thing, or getting new ideas that deviate from your original plan. Well, this is not your fault, actually. See, you are experiencing the consistency conundrum, which means you just can't stay consistent no matter how much you are actually committed to what you are trying to accomplish. But there's a way to overcome it and dominate the assignment God has given you consistently. And I'm about to share it with you.
You're listening to the Build Your Vision podcast, a podcast series about maneuvering the ups and downs of building a life that you're proud of, captured in real time. A community where dreamers become doers and doers become world changers. Let's go.
Consistency is a character trait that is essential to building your vision. Most of us know this already, but executing it can be quite difficult. There is always something else in this world vying for your attention, your loyalty, and your time. In today's episode, I will be addressing consistency from a perspective of a content creator, because as visionaries, we are also content creators. But the word content has evolved greatly over the last few years, and somehow it has become a household term. Because let me guess, when I said content creation, the first thing that popped into your head was social media, right? Well, let me expose this myth for you guys. Content creation is not synonymous with social media, and content creators are not synonymous with social media influencers. Now, they can be related, but they are not equal. Here's a quick history lesson. The word content comes from the medieval Latin word contenere, which means things contain. So what is content creation? Content creation means there are things contained inside of you that you were purposefully designed by God to create outside of you. Content creation. Here are some examples of what content creation is. Stories, teachings or lectures, paintings, songs, poems, architectural structures, sculptures, drawings. This is content creation. Now, here are some examples of what content creation is not. I gotta set this straight. Social media, YouTube, podcasts, blogs. Social media, YouTube, podcasts, and blogs are all examples of media platforms, a medium or way of passage that is either a storage place and or a marketplace for your content. I'll say that again. Social media, YouTube, podcasts, and blogs are all examples of media platforms, a medium or a way of passage that will either be a storage place and or a marketplace for your content. So if you are a visionary but don't believe that you're a content creator, most likely you're wrong. You are a content creator if you use the term properly. I know one of the biggest things that's being shoved down our throats as visionaries across the globe is the need to post on media platforms like social media and podcasts. I mean, heck, this is a podcast that I'm posting on. You're listening to it right now. And I don't disagree with this, actually. Content that no one knows about doesn't help many people. Visionaries are supposed to serve people with their vision, but it's hard to serve people if no one knows you exist. Now, raise your hand if you've ever tried to post online consistently, but have fallen off. I don't care where you're listening to this, working out, driving, walking, in the house, raise that hand. Oh, wow, you actually raised your hand. Now you probably look crazy. All right, so I'm raising my hand too, so it's all good. Second question, raise your hand if you have been inconsistent in the past and then saw a different option, tool, or platform and tried to do that because you thought it would either be easier, more bang for your buck, or less time consuming, and then still ended up being inconsistent. It's okay. You are not alone. See, you are running into the consistency conundrum, but this is how you fix it. want you to imagine a square with 4 different quadrants in it. The black quadrant says stagnation. The red quadrant says regression. The yellow quadrant says progression. And the green quadrant says leave a rating and review to support this podcast. Okay, it doesn't really say that, but simply leaving a rating and review really does help the social proof of the show. And we work really hard to provide this value to you for free. So it'll be great if you could support in that way. All right, so the green square actually says sensation in it. So you got 4 quadrants. One says stagnation. The other says regression. The next says progression. And the last one says sensation. And you can actually look at the quadrant either on the blog article or the image that is linked in the description. The stagnation quadrant is for visionaries who live by the mantra, do it right or don't do it at all. They want to create something with incredible quality at a high frequency, but they often get so overwhelmed with trying to perfect things that they end up doing, you guessed it, nothing. The regression quadrant is for visionaries who live by the mantra, something's better than nothing. They create at a high frequency, but is often mediocre or even low quality because they believe doing more is the answer. The progression quadrant is for visionaries who live by a simple principle that I call the bare maximum. This means that you deliver the highest quality you can at the highest frequency you can. Nothing less and nothing more. So if they want to post every day, but it sacrifices the quality of their product, they'll back it up and do it once a week. But if they realize that they are capable of doing more than once a week without sacrificing the quality, they'll bump it up to twice a week to make sure they are hitting their bare maximum. And then lastly, the sensation quadrant is for visionaries who have mastered the creation and distribution of their craft. And they're able to create at a high quality and at a high frequency consistently. These people usually go viral online quite frequently. Now, which quadrant would you like to be in? Stagnation, regression, progression, or sensation? This is not a trick question, guys. I would hope that your answer was the sensation quadrant. Who wouldn't want to create great stuff all the time for a long time? But what quadrant do you believe you are in right now? Stagnation, regression, progression, or sensation? Why? Most visionaries get caught slipping in this matrix and consistently find themselves, unfortunately, in the stagnation and regression quadrants. Either they overthink and hardly do anything, or they try to imitate what they see others doing and try to bang out as many copies as possible. And most of the time, they produce a mediocre or bootleg version of the sensational content that they're trying to imitate. The most overlooked quadrant for sure is the progression quadrant. Why? Because it's not sexy, it's not flashy, it's definitely not fast, and it takes discipline. But I admonish you that the only way to revolutionize your consistency is to be progressive. You cannot access sensation without first mastering progression. But here's the lethal mistake many visionaries make when it comes to the progression quadrant. They progressively try to be someone else. Sweetie, let me tell you something. You will never be sensational at being someone else. Never. It's just not going to happen. It's not practical and it's not sustainable. That is the quickest road to burnout, which is just an intense version of inconsistency. If you want to overcome this consistency conundrum, you have to progressively be you. And here's exactly how you do that in a easy, I tell you, this is simple, an easy 3 steps. Number 1, define what you are good at. What are you naturally drawn to when it comes to delivering or distributing your content? What do you possibly already do? Not everyone needs to be a YouTuber or a podcaster, at least not to start. Do you love speaking one-on-one with people? Do you love putting on in-person events? Maybe you enjoy and are drawn to going live on Facebook or Instagram. Maybe it's doing interviews, writing articles, selling at art shows, doing open mics, speaking on stage. It really doesn't matter, but doing what you are good at and passionate about is critical for producing a product that is high quality consistently. Number 2, keep doing what you're good at. Keep doing it. Don't stop doing what you're good at. Lots of times we just stop dead in our tracks to pivot to go do something else that we think is going to work faster or better, when we should just keep doing what we are good at, because that's what we could do at a high level, high quality, consistently over a long period of time. Keep doing it over and over, continually trying to improve and make it sensational. Eventually, you will be so good that people can't ignore you. Word will spread because excellence is viral. Number 3, scale. Once you have mastered one medium, move on to the next one. Once you have mastered going live, turn that live into a podcast. Once you've mastered your podcast, scale that into a YouTube channel. Once you've mastered selling your work at art shows, hire someone to post your paintings or you doing in a time lapse on Instagram. Once you've mastered speaking at live events, get someone to turn your talks into a YouTube channel. You have so many options on how you can scale once you have already mastered one medium that is sensational, because you have consistently stuck with doing what you are good at. If you try to master all of them at once, you will never, ever get to the sensation quadrant. You'll keep burning out. You'll keep starting and stopping. You'll keep making changes to the game plan because you feel like your current plan isn't working. Raise your hand if you've done that before. This is a no cap zone. Y'all don't lie. But if you follow these 3 steps, you will overcome the consistency conundrum. Think about what you are good at. What do you already enjoy doing? What are you most comfortable doing already? You're already making content. I know you are. How are you doing it? Leverage it. Keep doing it over and over again. Do it a lot. Get really good at it. Always continue trying to improve and make it absolutely excellent, because you are representing Christ in the process. Do your best. And then once you have done that, scale it so that more people can hear your message. More people can get the value that you provide. More people can see the vision that you have. If you do these 3 steps, I'm telling you, you will become a more prolific visionary, content creator, communicator, and just an overall more consistent individual. I'm gonna be honest with you. The enemy is after your consistency. And the breakthrough that you have been longing for, I'm speaking to myself as well as I say this. My goodness. The breakthrough that you've been longing for is on the other side of your consistency. And consistency is challenging, but it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it out to be if we follow these steps. I hope this was helpful to you. Re-listen to this episode if you need to. And as always, keep building your vision every single day. Peace.